What's up, guys? We're back with another NECA Turtles review, and I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I got this guy off eBay from China, so don't run out, well, depending on when you're watching this, don't run out expecting to find this at Target. We're taking a look at another cartoon figure. This is the Ultimate Foot Soldier, so it's the foot we've seen, but changed, maybe upgraded a little bit, and then has the ability to be a bunch of different versions of different foot soldiers. So there's a lot going on in this box. Similar to Metalhead, Mondo, Gecko, Krang, it is a VHS deluxe style figure. So you've got it in that FHE style VHS box. So you've got a big shot of artwork there on the front with a bunch of foot soldiers. You've got the NECA FHE style logo. We've got just the Turtles logo down the spine, and then the back of the box has a bunch of product shots, an actual bio for the foot soldiers, and then you've got some more cartoon style artwork. Of course, in this kind of box though, you get the flap, so you can pop that open, and then you've got a shot of Alpha 1 with a few regular foot soldiers behind him, and then we've got the figure there in the window. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Ultimate Foot Soldier. And this guy is, a lot of parts that we've seen before, and he may look like he's exactly the same figure that, you might have a few of. In my case, I have way too many cartoon foot soldiers for whatever reason, but this guy is updated in many ways. Similarly to how they've been updating with the Turtles when they went back and redid the 4 Turtles in the Disguise Pack. This guy has also been updated in a few very important ways, especially when it comes to articulation. But like I mentioned, this is an ultimate figure, and it comes with a number of things that make this the best version of this foot soldier so far, but also turns it into a unique foot soldier at the same time. So let's get started, see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. Like I mentioned, he is very, very similar to the foot soldiers you may already have, but there are a couple of very key differences when it comes to moving him around. So we've got a head that's on a ball peg, so it looks up, looks down. You've got your tilt side to side. You can rotate, but it's one of those heads, he lurches forward, so your rotation really does that, which it works, but it's not exactly practical. So it does what it's supposed to do. The arms go out at the shoulders. They, of course, will rotate, so you can pop them out and rotate them all the way around. You do have to watch the collar piece around his neck because it does get in the way, but that's nothing new here. We've got a bicep swivel. We've got double jointed elbows, so he goes up about that far. We've got our hinges and rotation at the wrist. The hinges have always been a little iffy on these guys because they have the flared pieces at the end of their shirt. So it goes up, but not too far, but it's enough. We've got the waist twist at the, at the waist. There is nothing else on this figure. They never had a diaphragm cut. They've never had any kind of ball peg at the waist. So you really only get the swivel there. The hips are where this guy has been updated to start with, though. So we've got the ball socket hips that we've been seeing throughout the line for a while now. So legs go out, they kick forward. You do have to watch, he's got the skirt piece, so it's going to hinder you a little bit. You go backwards. You can twist up there. We've got double jointed knees, so they go back about that far. You've got boot cut down here. And then we've got hinges this time. They don't go too far forward, but they go enough. They go really far back, though. And then you've got rockers. So previously, this figure had a ball peg for the foot, which has never been ideal. So they have gone back and updated this just like they did with the Turtles. So stuff like that. And then we do have our toe hinge. So he is very similar. He still moves very similarly to the original foot soldiers that we've gotten over the years now. But he's easier to move now. There is really no worry about those hips. He moves just fine. And then you do have more stability and just a little bit more posability simply because they gave us hinges instead of ball pegs down at the ankles. So I'm very happy with the changes they made. The only thing they could have done to make him much, much better is to give us some sort of cut at the diaphragm or a little bit more at the torso. But at this point, I'm very used to this. So what we got was a welcome change. Now, as far as the aesthetics go, this guy is, he's basically the exact same thing we've gotten over the years now, save for, maybe a few different paint applications here and there as things have progressed. I'm noticing a few more black line marks on this particular figure than some of my other ones, kind of down here around the bunching on the pants itself. The line work on the mask, the black outlining rather, and the black on the collar piece is a little thicker in some places than some of my other figures. So it's going to be kind of a, your mileage may vary kind of thing on how truly different he looks, but this is essentially the exact same figure that we've gotten when we're talking about the default configuration. And I mean, just for comparison's sake, here is an older one. Honestly, I don't quite recall how much older this one is, so this is probably the best way to talk about him. So this is, of course, our new one in the default configuration right out of the box. They're basically the same figure. So this guy is going to go in with your horde of foot soldiers really well. I mean, they've still got the, and I've always got to talk about it, they've got the bisected, chopped down the middle design, so he's darker on the back and a little bit brighter on the front. But it's the same sculpt. The only thing they did was really go back and re-engineer those hips, give them the new hips, and then get the new ankles, which are just kind of a quality of life improvement, really. It makes this figure a lot easier to mess around with. But overall, it's the same sculpt, based mostly the same parts in terms of the overall structure of the figure. We only have a few little different points of articulation, but he's the same great foot soldier that we've had for a while now, just with a few new bells and whistles as far as the overall construction. And then, like I said, I do see a little bit of a difference here when it comes to some of these lines down here on the pants. And then they are a little bit thicker on the mask and on the collar. But otherwise, I mean, it's the same figure. And that's a good thing because I do really like this figure. Obviously, I went out of my way to get it early and paid a little bit extra to do that, but I really like foot soldiers. I've said this pretty much in every foot soldier review I've done, and there have been a handful lately when it comes to this one, when it comes to the Super 7 Playmates style one, when it comes to the movie one. I have way too many foot soldiers because they're probably my favorite army builder, even more so than a stormtrooper. Honestly, I love foot soldiers. It's just a thing for me. So this guy is a great addition. So he's a little bit updated, but the sculpt and all the paint is still exactly the same. So he's going to fit in really well with everything you've already got on your shelf if you want to go crazy and try to get a lot more of these guys. Now, as far as accessories go, this is truly where this release, I was going to say set, but it's just one figure. This is where this release really shines because, like I mentioned, this is, at face value, a standard foot soldier with some updated articulation. But beyond that, it is the ability to make one very specific foot soldier. So this is Alpha 1 that I've got here in the middle. But we also get another head sculpt to make the yellow-footed foot soldier. So, generally speaking, they have the red emblem, but you've got yellow ones as well. And I'm thinking mostly, from his episode where he has, like a bunch of the yellow ones. So you do get an extra head sculpt. So that's the big thing for me is that you can make, if you only wanted to get one, you can make the unique one and move on. Or you can army build the regular trooper, or you can army build the yellow trooper, things like that. So I'm really happy that they went that route. And speaking of, I mean, the head sculpt for Alpha 1 is absolutely ridiculous. He's like a big brain foot soldier, so he is super smart and quickly becomes much smarter than both Shredder and Krang, and kind of takes over for a short while. Obviously, it doesn't last too long. A spoiler alert, I guess. But you can see, like the face of the foot soldier is kind of exploding out of the mask. You've got the yellow emblem up on the top there, and then he's just got this massive noggin. It is very simple to swap heads for this particular release. It just pops off and on. I will say that one thing that I'm sure folks are going to want to do is to take these heads and maybe put them on other foot soldiers. So like I've got the yellow footed head here, which is just your regular foot soldier head with a yellow emblem on it. I put it on one of the battle damage ones. The older foot soldiers do not have the same style of joint there. It's a barbell basically, or a dumbbell joint rather, but they are not the same tolerance. So I had to superheat this guy up, and then I had to get some needle nose pliers in there to actually rip the dumbbell joint out of the head because it came with the head, and then I had to put it back in. So it's not a simple pop and swap, but you can do it. The colors don't exactly match here, though. It's a little bit more saturated purple on the new head sculpt compared to some of the older bodies. It probably doesn't matter too much, but just, FYI. So we do get these awesome head sculpts. I mean, this configuration right here is my number one reason for wanting to get this set. And then of course, you know, I want to army build the hell out of this thing even more than I have been. So we've got some awesome head sculpts. You can easily swap it on this body. It's the same kind of joint again, it's just a different tolerance. The holes are a little bit different compared to some of the older releases. And I did try various foot soldiers, not just the battle damage ones. The regular ones are also the same way. Beyond that, you know, as I've talked about heads way too much, we do get a bunch of hands with this release. So we get 10 extra hands here. So you get a set of flat chopping hands, you get a set of trigger finger hands, we get a set of splayed finger hands, and then you get 2 sets of gripping hands that have wide and small grips. And some of these hands look like they might have come from Shredder, because I know I've seen some of them, but they haven't all come with these foot shoulders yet. So we do get some different hands there. We get the police hat, or like the security guard hat, as I throw it across the room here. So we get one of the hats, and you can pop this on a foot soldier, and it'll sit on any of the regular heads just fine. You just pop it on there. We get a bunch of weaponry as well. So we've got a new sword here with this foot soldier, and this is the one that's on the front of the box, like the sawtooth blade. So it's got like some gouges in it. So we got this guy. We've got a spear over here with this one, and this is specifically what the closed grip hands are for. It's just in a regular foot soldier's hand right now, but it's just a little spear. And this is going to be the situation where I don't quite remember what some of this stuff is, so, you know, bear with me. Someone's surely going to let me know. We get a mutagen canister, and this one's done up in like green and purple. So an ever-present mutagen canister. We get 2, count them, 2 ninja stars, 1 orange, 1 black. We get a fan, which I absolutely love in terms of, you know, like ninjas when it comes to using a fan as a weapon. So you get this one done up with a lot of cartoony deco on it. We get a communicator. This one is another one that has Krang in it. So I don't know how many of those we've got laying around at this point. We get this pistol. We've seen this one before. We get this little guy, and I don't think we've seen this one before, and I can't quite recall what this is, so someone let me know. We get the big monster blaster here, which I really do like. It's a very foot soldier-esque weapon. We get the standard sword. We've gotten this before. This came with the foot soldiers previously. We get this gun as well, which we've seen before. It actually came with Mondo Gecko most recently. He had this one. And then last but not least, we have this guy here, which I'm really excited about, because while we've seen this one before, it's got new paint deco on it, so it's got some purple all over it, and I think it pops a lot better than it just being that standard gray that it usually is. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's one figure that can be used in many different configurations, but he's got what, 5 guns, he's got 2 swords, he's got a fan, he's got a spear, he's got 2 throwing stars, mutagen canister, 3 total heads, and then he's got 10 extra hands. This thing is absolutely fully loaded. There's a ton of stuff in here that you can use on this particular foot soldier, or use it to just differentiate some stuff if you've already got an army going. So yeah, this is a pretty stellar release. At this point, honestly, I don't really know how many foot soldiers I have. I actually opened another pack just so I could mess around with this particular release. I've got in the double digits of cartoon foot soldiers, and I'm unfortunately very interested in building even more, because I want more of these yellow foot soldiers. I want to have Alpha 1, and then I want to have like a few of the yellow ones behind him, just to have his group, have a bunch of the regular ones, and it'll be a nice little subgroup within a massive army of foot soldiers. Because like I said, I really love the foot soldier, and I think NECA did a great job from the get-go with this guy, but he's even better now because he has this updated articulation. It's not much, but it's enough to really make him just easier to use, and you don't have to worry about him. And then he comes with 1,000,001 accessories. I love the Alpha 1 head sculpt. The only real negative for this set for me, overall, honestly, is that you can't easily pop and swap those heads between the older foot soldiers. You can do it. It's not a thing you can't do, but it's something you're going to need heat for. There's no way you're going to get those in and out without heat, based on me testing 4 or 5 different foot soldiers. So not the biggest thing in the world, but it is something to take note of. Don't go trying to rip heads off and ruining your figures. So that's going to do it for this look at the NECA Toys Cartoon Ultimate Foot Soldier. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.